Gnothi Seuton, love, peace, blessing, happiness, health, joy, all manner of goodness and kindness unto you and your family. Something good is going to happen to you today. And it's so cool when we look into, Gnothi Seuton, know yourself, know your mind, know your brain, know your body, know your chemistry. Become your own personal alchemist and do your own, or be your own science experiment, so to speak. Recognize when I eat this, and it may taste good while I'm tasting it, but afterwards, or maybe look out below. All different types of, reactions, and to recognize that, this is a world, a realm, a 3D dimension of cause and effect. And when we look at things that way, and when we decide that we're going to start to change the way we look at things, change our perception, what that does is it can get us out of ruts. Sometimes we end up in ruts, and it just seems like the same thing is happening over and over again. And when the same thing happens over and over again, we tend to, because of our reticular activating system, we tend to focus that, and combined with the fight or flight response, stress response, the serpentine, reptile area of our brain. What happens is we tend to just look at the negative, and it's based on, again, survival and the reticular activating system pointing out things that we need to be cautious of to survive. And what happens? We begin to build a reality for ourselves that is only based on negative experiences, and it isn't real at all. And what happens is that we can end up in a rut, and that rut can turn into sometimes a downward spiral. And sometimes when we're in a downward spiral, we're looking for a quick fix, and sometimes quick fixes can they provide an illusion of relief and for the short term, but what they actually do is end up making the spiral go down faster and deeper. And so that's where Gnothi Seuton, know yourself, and being a observer of our own choices, being an observer or a watcher of our thoughts, comes into play and can be our own best, strongest, loving, kind, honest ally to help us get out of the downward spiral, to help us get out of limited focus and negative focus and fear focus, and can transform our lives. It's like Wim Hof says, the cold is your honest friend. Because when you're in the cold, or you're taking a cold shower, or maybe an ice bath, there's no BS. You can't tell yourself any excuses. It's all very real. And that's cool, because there's been imposed on humankind, the human species, an influence to create what I like to call the mainstream species, which started back when the American education system started to apply the Prussian method, the Prussian system, which is, in a nutshell, it's designed to create soldiers, or obviously, to create workers. And Rockefeller himself said, that he created an education system that, produces workers and eliminates thinking. Because when you want to have a workforce or human resources, put humans into the category of lumber and minerals. And well, that's how some of these influences see us. So we're back to the place where, what is our influence right now? And what is our influence from the past doing to us right now, based on our beliefs and based on our perceptions? And we may find out that our educational system, because the science proves it. Just look at the world, which has adopted this same type of system. It's global now. Maybe not in indigenous settings. That's the only place where it's left, and that's also the only historical sources of the true history of mankind can be found now, is in indigenous tribal stories that have been handed down or have been preserved in architecture. Everything else is a twisted, my goodness, who would even be able to think of a word that we could all accept? But again, you have to see for yourself, and you have to wonder, are we living in a propaganda influenced mindset that is designed to make the human mainstream species docile workers that will accept anything and will just go ahead and work or build anything, and maybe some under fear, build things but they recognize that they're building, but feel like they have no choice. And some of you may recognize that it sure looks like right now the mainstream human species focus is on just building a system that all you have to do, or all AI has to do, is push the button and it can take over the entire world. Oh my goodness. Did anybody see that? Anybody see that happening right before our very eyes? Can anybody see AI taking over jobs? And while the people who are claiming that it's now their goal, their mission to create jobs, the people who have just been very, very quickly taking jobs away. Look at warehouses now that are almost fully automated. But these giants on the earth right now, who are corporations and negative entity influenced, sure appear to be just building a system that truly all AI is going to have to do is push a button and take over. And then next thing you know, the mainstream species isn't needed anymore. What do you think is going to happen to it? The same thing that happens to every targeted species or group. If you're a white person like me, you recognize that that the white people have been targeted, have been demonized, and when we're put in our place by this system and no longer necessary, then they'll move on to the next group, and because they aren't going to need us anymore anyway. But so with all of that, are you doing your own science experiment on your own self, on your own life, on your own results, on your own manifestations, on what you are currently manifesting into your life right now, and recognizing the influence of cause and effect based by your own choices, and saying these choices are toxic, they are producing results that don't serve me but rather enslave me, harm me and those around me, and it's a no-brainer to simply stop choosing them, because there is a powerful, enlightened, directly connected to source, loving, unconditional, forgiving, parental influence, the true creator that returns our being, our soul as a spark. Doesn't return it, but reconnects it, because the reconnection is only a perception of mind. We cannot be disconnected from source, because we are a spark of source itself. It's just us recognizing or remembering that connection and allowing all of the perception blockages and distractions to be removed, thus giving us true, powerful enlightenment to be reunited with our own true, authentic self, to open our eyes and to see who we truly are, and to have an amazing, powerful, personal enlightenment, which is really simply a reunion with who we truly are. Love, peace, blessing, Genothi Seutan. Something good is going to happen to you today. Namaste.